It's 12:25, live with us in the studio in this rendition of Bolton's Can We Talk? We have the proprietor of thishouse.ca, Remax broker, Mr. Arsen Gulesserian. I'm Ron Bhatia. The phone lines are open if you're thinking of buying a house, if you're thinking of selling your house, or if you're just interested in the topic of real estate in general, check out thishouse.ca. Give us a call at 905-951-2899 or submit your questions via email on info@radiocaledon.com. Arsen, just before the break, we talked about how the idea of having MLS.ca be open to any participant that would like to market their house has been a discussion as of late, certainly within the last couple of months. But what that brings up is other thoughts of just because anyone can list their property on MLS.ca, the really good professional performers, the professional realtors such as yourself, will be able to still maintain services over and above just simply listing it on MLS.ca. Do you have further thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. I'm listening, as I indicated earlier, this has been a hot discussion with a lot of my clients and people, just general public that I run into, and the perception is that once the general public can post it on the MLS, as that we realtors are going to be out of a job. Actually, on the contrary, I believe our services are even more important than ever before, because the MLS is just another avenue to list your property.
One of many avenues.
One of many avenues, and truthfully, in today's marketplace on that, as I indicated, just listing your property on MLS is just not enough. You literally have to push it over to 5 to 6 to 7,000 of websites, tap into all those social media to draw in traffic to your property on that. And with the marketing by just putting on the MLS is just not enough. You have to literally do professional feature sheets. You have to do high definition pictures of your property. You have to have it staged. You have to also have the most important fact as a professional realtor to negotiate top dollars for your property. I know myself as a professional negotiator, if the competing realtor or even a general person trying to sell it, I am trained negotiator. I know I could get the best deal for my client, and by you thinking that you're a professional negotiator, it could cost you thousands of dollars, and it's not 10. Yeah. So by you saving that 2.5% commission, in reality, could cost you a lot more because a pro can beat you in any competition.
Now, sometimes by virtue of the amount of the commission, a person that's considering selling it by themselves for sale by the owner, they may think they may save $30,000 or whatever the amount is with that ratio. But if you have an expert negotiator, that expert negotiator could in fact possibly and conceivably, and it's been done, negotiate an additional $80,000 for you. So it's well worth your while. And again, the commission is paid strictly if a deal happens. It's not just something that you have to pay up front. So it's in your best interest to hire a professional such as yourself to do what you need to get done to sell your place.
That's right. As a professional realtor, when we list a property, we take on the risk of all the marketing and advertising costs on that. We only get paid once the deal has been finalized, and a lot of people don't understand that. Sometimes we spend thousands of dollars on a property, and for whatever it doesn't sell, we lose, not the seller does on that. And that's a key thing. And besides marketing and negotiating, the other thing is who is protecting your interests when you are selling your house? There's various clauses that are in place, and some are very complicated. And you must understand real estate law, and you must understand the process of buying and selling to make a deal happen. And at the end, whether you do decide to go with the MLS route, if that does transpire after the Competition Bureau and CREA resolve their issue on that, truthfully, you still have to offer 2.5% to other realtors for them to bring in a potential buyer. So you're back on the same boat. You still have to pay 2.5%, and the other percent that if someone is protecting you, is it worth the risk on that? And it's a personal choice. There are some savvy sellers out there, but in general, professional realtors are here to protect you, to help you make your dream come true.
I have an email from Melody Richardson, and she asks, what is the average price to have your house staged, and does it vary depending on the size of the house? That's actually a good question. You mentioned that it's important to have your house staged. What is the typical cost associated with that? I guess it's difficult to say depending on the state of the house.
Actually, it's an excellent question. The size of the house does have a direct effect on how much it's going to cost. Also, the condition of the house is important on that. In general, also, the furniture has a big factor with it. If you have nice couches,
Whether
nice
it's in
dining-
style too, and
Yeah,
updated,
what's in
yeah.
the style. Listen, a professional stager tries to make your property contemporary look, and then, which attracts to the masses of 90% of the buyers out there. So it is important that we have to neutralize your property to make it attractive. I've seen staging costs as low as $150, $200. Most professional realtors like myself, we pay for the initial staging consultation where it comes in, our stager comes in, walks through it, and tells you what you need to do. And you could save yourself the money by doing it yourself, all the work, by putting a little towels here, a couple pictures here and there, put a vase here with some flowers on that. Because the impression when a buyer walks in has to wow them. And statistically it's been proven that within the first 5 seconds when a buyer walks through the door, they've already decided they're going to buy the property. And what staging does is as they walk through the property, it reassures them that their initial instincts are correct, so reinforces it. And a staged property literally sells 5 times faster and sometimes 10% more than a non-stage. On the average, I'll give you an example, like around 2,500 square foot home costs about $1,000.
And if that $1,000 translates into a finished deal, a finished sale, it's well worth it, proportionally speaking, well worth it. You can have a house staying on the market for months at a time, and with each month that you're carrying that property, that far exceeds the cost of staging the property.
It is very minimal cost to get a property staged versus how long you sit on the market, how much it's gonna cost you. And then at the end, your first price cut when you list your property is significantly higher than it would cost to stage a home. And the longer you sit on the market, the more it's against you on that. The first, in my professional opinion, the first 3 days and the 3 weeks are the key. After the 3 weeks, if nothing is happening, there is no offer on the table, or the offers are very low, that means there's something wrong with it. So I've taken on so many properties that was listed before it wasn't staged, and after we listed it and staged it, it was sold within 3 days on that. So it really works. I'm a firm believer in it, and if I didn't believe in it, I would not pay for that initial service out of my own pocket.
The idea that somebody makes up their idea within the first 5 seconds of entering the property, that's pretty much universal. When you meet somebody, you can decide relatively immediately whether you like them or not, or anything like that. So first impressions are very key and very important. So the importance of staging is pretty evident regardless of the cost. A question that comes to my mind as we're discussing, you've mentioned you have lots of listings, and when you are dealing with an agent such as yourself that has lots of listings and lots of properties, sometimes people may be a little apprehensive to contact you because many times I've heard of situations where you contact a top producer and you rarely get to talk to that top producer. You're usually talking to one of their delegates or maybe one of their junior commissioned realtors. Is that the case with you, or is that something that you tend to shy away from?
I tend to shy away from that. I actually, when a client hires my service, whether to buy or sell, they deal with me directly. The administrative portion of a realtor is handled by my office on that. We have some of the top people in the industry. I also seek third-party advice from legal consultation to financial, everything that is involved with the real estate on that. So when people do contact me, they are dealing with me. I go to the negotiating table for you. I help you market and sell your property on that. I do have admin staff that will help me take care of the behind the scenes on that, but the public will deal with me directly, and that's, they get what they hire.
You're listening to CJFB-FM. I would urge and encourage you to check out thishouse.ca. With us in the studio live, Arsen Gulesserian, proprietor of thishouse.ca, Remax broker. We'll be right back. We just got a break for traffic and weather. We'll be back in a couple of minutes right here on The Beat.